Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz and lovely Lauren in this inanimate object called Apple 12 Pro, who are here today on this Saturday instead of yesterday, which was a Friday, because I was under 1 bar of charge for the entire week, pretty much. But we're big, as they would say from New Zealand. There's a few house points we'll throw out, as you can see up there, before we go into introductions for those that have been waiting for so long to say hello. Say hello, Laura.
Hello.
See, she's here.
I'm here. Yeah, as always.
We'll go on with a little bit of housekeeping before we do introductions there, Lauren.
Yep.
What you can see up on the screen to make it a little bit different every time, there's some subtle differences that you won't see at all at the moment. We've got a slideshow made up for you tonight, and that's the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're sitting on 8,913. Do yourself a favour, get involved with the channel, put some meat on the bone, so to speak. You know, belong. Underneath, we've got our goals, financial goals, to get a litre of cola on this stream.
I don't know if we can do it, but we'll try.
I don't know. And members, we're hoping for 1,000 by 2030 if we're still here. This might be the actual shelter you're looking for.
Yeah, it might be. I'm sure we'll still be here.
Yeah, that's it. So if you're not a subscriber, get on board. It's free. Watch yourself come up as a zombie on the screen. Can't wait to have you here. As the numbers come in, as JJ gets nervous before he's about to go into submarine of those that do consent to him in their locker, let's move on. Spartan straight away has jumped in and stolen the litre of Coke, a litre of cola.
Yeah.
By the way, Lauren, I found out something today.
What's that?
Wait 2 seconds. The Kraken is back. It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari. We know the mother-in-law's never happy.
No, they never are.
When people say to us, "G'day, Skippy343," I hear people talking about what does a veteran do? What are you going to get out of it? Well, guess what? Guess who invented Coca-Cola? A veteran.
Oh, there you go.
An American veteran who had been a physician, who put on his uniform, who joined the military, who fought and was slashed by a saber and was told, you only have 24 hours to live, you're dying. But then they put the morphine in it. Just made him fly away, fly away. And then he woke up and he recovered eventually and decided he needed something to get him off morphine, so he invented Coca-Cola between the cocoa leaf and the cola nut. Put them together, then add some sweeteners to it, sold it as a product. Pepsi made again in USA after they saw the success of Coca-Cola. It is the Fugazi. It is the fake diamond, you know, and Pepsi, okay, never truly took off in my books. So there you go. Coca-Cola was made by a veteran, and guess who else was?
Who else?
Santa Claus's Colours was a promotion by Coca-Cola that put him in red and white.
Exactly, our modern day version of Santa Claus. That's right.
That didn't sink then. The fantastic donation by Spartan 117, Halo, Master Chief, over onto the litre of cola. It's mate. It's not fake news, Spartan.
We know you did it.
Cole P's got it here. Got your smarts on tonight, Kaz? Yep, I've got the glasses. You know, they're better on my face than in the carpet under my heels. With
They never are.
Yeah. I've got the Krakens here, my friend. I've already put it on there, Mr. P, in case you stepped out to empty your colostomy bag and have come back. We've got... I'd love to have a colostomy bag in a bar fight. Lightfoot's here, Alex G, not Alex the Kid. Attaboy, Carl, dancing on the ceiling. We had Bailey's hat, threw it, flew through the wind, landed on Rock Hudson's grave, and now he's going to come out and go and show you what JJ's in for.
Hey, welcome, BB Ace. Welcome to the Great Unwashed.
BB Ace, great to have you here. Not Devil's Haunts, bam. Surface, A-OK. That hasn't shown up either. What is going on? Is this the droid we're looking for? BB Ace, great to have you here. Can we get some thumbs of colour down there to introduce BB Ace to our fantastic family here?
I've got something to tell you about BB Ace. He left a really lovely message for you before you jumped on in the chat.
Okay.
And He said, "Hey Kaz, just sending a message to say thank you for all your videos. It's helped me and everyone else so much throughout my enlistment process. I'm leaving for Kapuka on the 9th of March."
Let's quickly do the book before we jump into
Yep.
what's going on. 9th of March, BB.
Yep.
You know what BB will do? He'll bring back your BB bounce. That's a Barocca man right there.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so what date is that? 9th of March.
The 9th of March.
9th of March. When's the Ides of March? Julius Caesar, beware.
Yeah, I don't know when the Ides of March is.
That's when he got executed, murdered.
I know what it is, but I don't know when it is, like what date it is.
Well, you'll be happy to know, BB Ace, that you're also going at the same time as Texas Walker and also Jetty Boy. And that's at least. I've got to go back and look at the new people that are there. And we've also got some people who are heading off this actual Monday, which would make the date the 15th. And this one's a little bit confusing because we've got some people saying they're going to 18th, so I'm sure there must be some people that are also going to Army Reserve as well. But we've got Kobe, we've got Test 1, 2, 3, we've got Masterful Rain, and we've got Olan Oyet, that are also going as 15 or 18 platoon.
Wow, we got a lot of folk heading off again.
We have, and we've got the Bretto man that's leaving on the 22nd. And on the 27th, we've got Maddie, who's going to Duntroon, to the land of
Oh, wow.
fine wines, cheeses, and, whatever else comes with it.
Yeah. There's Jessie Enderby with a $5 with a seasick cow.
Jessie, I wish I had your girl, as we know. If you are a girl, nothing. I'm not going to assume your gender. Jessie, great to have you here, mate. The cookies made me hungry, and we won't shame that green piece of fruit.
It's not a cookie, it's a Southern Cross, isn't it?
No, it looks like a cookie with a Southern Cross, maybe. I thought it was a biscuit.
I think it's a Southern Cross, not a biscuit.
My eyes are painted on, team. I'm sorry.
Sam Glasgow says, "G'day, Kaz, heading to Kapuka on Tuesday."
Stan Glasgow.
And Sam. Play it again.
Say it again, Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
SAM.
Kapuka on Tuesday.
Where's his name?
Glasgow. Sam Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm just looking for it in there. Sam Glasgow
Yeah. Little
Is-
orange S.
is going on the 15th.
Yeah, he's not in green.
Oh, 15th of, the 15th, Sam. Yeah, I've got him in there already.
Oh, good.
So the people that are going, sorry, I got that wrong. The people that are going on Monday is Luke Hutchins, Sam Glasgow, the Bear, bear with me.
Yep.
Okay, also flies as big as cats. We know who you are, sir. And we've also got the shark bait is also going there as an artillery observer. Fantastic. We need you on that wall, and you're going to be part of this stream, mate. Fantastic. SOS.
SOS.
Not scared of heights, but years of closets opening quickly and surprises. Hi, Kaz, Tim. I hope you're all well. Nominated Kapuka the 5th of March due to this month's cancellation of the PTRC. Yeah, it's Western Australia. We had some cancellations. It's been terrible in Victoria. I'm not wearing a hat, but hats off to you. I'm not sure if you're ever going to actually be able to pull yourself away from whatever's happening down there, because it's getting to the stage where I believe even with the vaccine, they're going to keep closing you down, closing you down, closing you down. And I do not understand the knee-jerk reaction. However, I hope for all those that are in big business, that are struggling at the moment, I really say a prayer to you, mate, because the economy, as you know, as I do, individually won't come back for some people that have got their life savings invested.
I don't think any of us are actually ever going to see another Victorian in the flesh again.
No. Where have all the good ones gone?
Where have all the Victorians gone?
Mullet man. Now, that is someone that should be cutting hair.
Yep, it's someone you probably already... Oh, there's Sam Glasgow. Welcome to the Great Unwashed.
Sam Glasgow. There he goes. Bam. Great unwashed. He's in the team. Throw him a hand of colour, but don't make it just one, because then Jared would come along, Wolf Creek, and might pick you up and take you somewhere dark.
Exactly. It is easier to see your names when they're in green, just saying. When I'm reading questions, I do tend to gravitate towards the green names first.
Do you know what I gravitate towards?
What?
Earth. Hey, let's go another one. That's right. We've got the Krakens here. Sorry. The calamari. It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law.
Exactly.
That should make him happy.
Yeah.
Welcome, calamari. See, the members are coming up. They're showing up there on the screen.
Yep.
Subscribers, I'm not sure if they're showing up. I haven't seen someone subscribe yet.
You know,
But the leader of Cola didn't. SOS didn't. So this is for SOS. We have.
specify what sort of cola. You could mean Pepsi.
Nope.
I know you accept. Pepsi.
That's a Fugazi.
It's not. We've seen you.
There's Daz down there. One day we might put all donations towards a new Hyundai, so Daz and I get to hold hands and drive off into the sunset, Velma and Louise, over a cliff to see if the airbags actually work. That would get at least 30 views. Look at that. Sad Boy and Lurker throwing... Everyone's throwing denominations of 3 down there except Daz. Good on you, Daz.
That's what we do with new members.
Even the goddamn Krakens came in 3s.
3 thumbs up.
At least put 8 up there. 8 Kraken, for the legs. Guys and gals, Ryanopoulos, good to have you here, mate, using all of the privileges, including, what are those freaky dancing bears down there? Are they Chernobyl wiggles or some shit?
That's social distancing things. I don't know what that little yellow man is.
That's racist. He could be Asian.
Come on now, he's a little yellow man. There's 3 of them.
Vernon's here. Good to have you here, mate. Daz, hell yes, I'm down for an adventure. Maybe we won't hold hands, but yeah.
Maybe not over the cliff either.
Guys and gals, what we're going to do at the moment, I've set something else up here, what's going to occur in a second. This is about patrolling tonight. We're going to be speaking about patrolling, but what that's going to take to get it all out for you, for your pleasure, if this is what you're here for globally or Australian or anywhere across the oceans, including the red corn chip, we're going to be talking about patrolling. Now, to get this out so that you have your time too, show me some thumbs up if you're happy for me to go on a monologue that goes for 20 minutes at the most. It's been set up by a bomb that will go off, not an actual one, that will go off if I go over the 20-minute mark, and that's time for Kaz to shut the hell up and then do a version 2, understanding that I will also take this monologue, I will do some editing to it, and that will come out as a condensed video for those that can't hang around for an hour, hour and a half on a Saturday, so to speak. So if you're happy for that, sorry?
They'd love it. They love when you impart your wisdom on them. Yeah, look, there's all the thumbs up.
Okay, but they're all from Bailey's Hat, who's hanging out at Rock Hudson's. Yeah.
You go ahead.
Willie B42. Okay, well, let's set this up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kick into this.
All right.
Okay, are you happy for that, Lauren?
Absolutely.
Can Lauren entertain you with no accent in comments until this is over?
Okay.
And
I'll have time to say hello to everyone. I haven't quite had time to say hello to anyone in chat, so I can do that now.
That's awesome. And no disrespect, guys, I won't be answering questions for the next 20 minutes. If you're not joining the army, this is still going to have some interest to you. Okay, so let's set the bomb up.
Oh, thank you, Drunk Aussie, Seasick Cow.
Oh, there we go. Drunk Aussie. He's fallen asleep on his keyboard, like usual. G'day, Kaz and team. How are we today? We're fine, Drunk Aussie, and we're about to take in a patrol. Why we do it. And this is pertinent to the ingredient to why Australians always win. Okay? Let's put this on quickly for Drunk Aussie. He was kicking the wall, and it was coming down all around him.
I accept.
We said, don't do it. You can't fight him. Okay. Here we go, team. Let's put on the bomb. Bam. The bomb has started. What we're going to talk about now, team, is the fantastic thumbnail that we did today, which is what happens on a patrol. What is a patrol? Why do we do it? What is the end state of doing a patrol? So the bomb starts now. Boom. Let's go. Patrolling is indicative of infantry and cavalry. When you consider what a formation is that's in a static location, we do not sit on our hands. We need to go out. We need to seek out. We need to close the enemy. We need to kill it, capture him, to seize and hold ground and repel attack by day and night, regardless of season, weather, or terrain. We need to keep him on the back foot. But he's doing exactly the same thing. He's sending scouts out. We're sending scouts out. We're sending forces, mobile forces. Patrol clash occurs. Who wins? We'll see who's better trained. Who was in the larger force? How does it develop from there? So let's see it first. Patrolling, what is it? What's the definition of it? When we ask about the definition, as according to the USMC, United States Marine Corps, bam. The definition of a patrol is a detachment of ground forces sent out by a larger unit for the purpose of gathering information or carrying out, oh my God, we're going to turn the chat box off for a second. Out destructive, harassing, or security missions. Most combat patrols are platoon size, reinforced with crew-served weapons. There we go. So that is the definition of what a patrol is. When we talk about platoon size there, this becomes pertinent when it comes to orders and we start to talk about the tactics and also the scenarios, not scenarios, the strategies that have been set up by hire using MAP, Military Appreciation Process. And then there is the IMAP, Individual Military Appreciation Process, normally used by platoon commanders, with assistance from outside factors being intelligence corps, signals corps, patrol reports that change the narrative. And then it comes down to CMAP, Combat Military Appreciation Process, that is done by the tactical commander on the ground, who's normally a platoon commander. So let's go back a bit. We're talking about CMAP. Not CMAP, sorry, MAP, Military Appreciation Process. What that is we define in Australia, before we go to a deployment to an area of conflict, what is the threat involved? Is there sympathetic people to us in that area? Is there stakeholders there that are important to us? What is the level of command? What is their equipment? What is their capability? Where do they derive their ability to fight from, called the centre of gravity? What's the most dangerous course of action that they can have on us? And then from there, we create a plan. How big a group do we go out in? Okay, how far can we afford to go out? Do we need offensive support? Okay, do we need to go out there with kid gloves on to make it look like we're not here to hurt, we're here to help, until they throw the first punch? And then the man in the dark happens. Let me explain that. The man in the dark occurs when you put two people into a dark room and then tell them to fight. The first thing that's naturally going to happen is their arms start to range. One arm, okay, the opposite to their master hand, is going to reach out and start to look for where the opposition is. Once it sees him, feels him, grabs him, it'll grab his hold of him, and then from there, that becomes an anchor point, while the right hand becomes the maneuver point, and then from there, boom, 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 and whoever is the last one standing is the victor. But both ultimately end up with wounds at least. Matty, that's way too much, mate. Love your work. Inspired me when I first stumbled upon this channel a few years ago. You helped me get to where I am now. Thanks, Kaz and team, for that, mate. We've got to give you a cracking, and then we'll move on to the next point. Deal or no deal? Salt and pepper calamari, chili, dusted.
It's a cracking.
Interesting.
Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy.
Matty,
Welcome, calamari.
the pleasure is mine. And when we get these sort of, what would we say, these trophies from people post-event, that tells people they're not wasting their time if they're still on their culminating journey to where they need to go. So the message that came from you then is loud and clear to those that realise they are in the right place, to assist them with the truth to get into where they have to go. For that, Nutsu Cow, I thank you, mate. And if I had a tentacle, you would feel it. Thank you. Okay, let's get rid of this slide. The definition. Okay, let's move to the next one. The types of patrols. There is two types of patrols, but you could say there's three. There is the fighting patrol. Okay, the fighting patrol. There is the recon patrol. Okay, and then there's a combination of both. But really there's two. The fighting patrol and the reconnaissance patrol. When you hear about recon, that's not about fighting. It's about gaining information and getting the hell out of Dodge without being compromised, without people understanding that you've gone above the detection threshold, so that you get out of there and they don't know that you know the information on them. So that then the next time they hear from us, you've got mail. Get it? Okay, fighting patrol. That can be ambushes. That can be standing patrols. That can be raids. That can be a standard patrol as kinetic patrol. You're going out to get rid of the enemy. Threat, engage, deny, all of these things. So there's only two sorts of patrols. They're either to gain information or they're to go and lock horns. And you don't have to be very sneaky peeky when you go and lock horns. So the purpose of why we patrol, it is to take the enemy's threats, terrain back off him. It's to gain information as a byproduct of aggressively patrolling. It's to deny enemy movement within a given area. It is to give confidence to a local populace and make them realise that they may be safe again now. We patrol so that we dominate an area and deny him his eyes and ears, and ultimately we keep pushing forward to the limit of our exploitation until we understand exactly where he is in strength, and we'll know that by what we run into, long 10. Okay, and then from there we decide on upgrading to whatever the problem is, using other assets, force multipliers, and then we step up again and take care of that. So two types of patrols. What is an AO? An area of operations. Consider Australia as an area of operations. Okay, but then within that, there's TAORs, tactical areas of responsibility. So you've got Queensland, New South Wales. Okay, you've got Northern Territory, ACT, Western Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and South Australia. If I hadn't said it already, the land of the single mums. If every one of them is allocated to a call sign, we'll say it's to the 2nd Battalion, has the entire AO. But think of Australia as a lot smaller. And you've got Alpha Company is covering off in Queensland. You've got Bravo that is covering off at the moment in ACT. You've got Charlie Company that is in Victoria. Make sure your social distance formations further apart. And then you've got Delta Company who's down in South Australia. Western Australia and Tassie and Northern Territory can wait, but we might even get some support company to go in there and have a look around, and see where we go from there. Motorised and mechanised. Now it steps up, which means we've also got more firepower, more mobility, and more resources to be able to last longer than the 72-hour threshold. So we continue with that. A mousetrap. A mousetrap allows you to go between AOs, between TAORs. Okay, so that is a designated area because we'll have a standoff. You don't go within a certain amount of distance within small arms range normally of an AO boundary, a TAOR boundary, tactical area of responsibility. That's why if Bravo Company and Alpha Company come within contact of each other site, well, they're going to know by sit reps and updates. Okay, we know that they don't end up having a blue on blue, but you can ask permission to be able to cross into the boundary into another person's sector, so to speak. We'll keep moving on. What is an NAI? That is a named area of interest, which is something that'll be designated during the orders group onto a piece of a key feature or something that needs to be physically investigated to determine whether that's a point of interest, whether there is something on there that can be targeted, or whether that becomes something we can use later on as a vantage point, etc. Something of value. DF, defensive fire. Pre-marked positions by forward observers, okay, that can walk on indirect fires onto those locations, make them safe or unsafe to cover the approach or withdrawal of our forces. These can also be used as reference points, but probably not for casevacs, resupply, and also harbour positions, which means where we sleep. An RV, we have rolling RVs, rendezvous point, which is normally at least 200 metres behind our patrol, is a rolling RV point. Another there's going to be actions on that tell us the rendezvous point, the place to catch back up again, which is procedures for under the actions on, should anything occur, is going to be in these designated areas. So those that are navigating along the way know if something happens, indirect fire, attack, casualty, withdrawal, whatever, we can get to the RV point without communications. But when you get there, then there's visible cues how to sort each other out. Report lines. There's a report line that will be in certain locations where you let people know within lock stats, location, okay, reports to hire, okay, that let them know we've just crossed over report line crocodile. So they go, okay, and then they move the marker on the map, so to speak. Report lines. Control measures, there's going to be so many. There's going to be building numberings. Taking into account, we're not necessarily talking about urban, we're not necessarily talking about rural or jungle, etc. These report lines will subtly change depending on what the location is you're in. But that's okay. That's all going to be briefed before you step out of the wire. But these are the things that need to happen. The next thing, control measures are also going to be communications. Right? There's going to be input from the platoon sergeant, platoon commander. Let's put some more control measures in there, not just for external to our call sign, but also for people within our call sign. There's even control measures that will tell you when you're doing building clearances that denote the side of the building you're on, understanding we have a north point or a 12 o'clock on a map. And then we go from the green wall, the white wall, the red wall, okay, the blue, etc., or is it the black? I can't remember, but you can look it up on Google easy enough. But once we're all synchronized on that, we can move forward on that, and it's fine. So there's a whole lot of control measures. So there's nothing random about what we do. We're down to 8 minutes 40. Let's keep going, Kaz. Purpose of a warning order. The warning order lets us know you'll normally be sitting back, sucking off the invisible man, half falling asleep on picket behind the machine gun, or actually doing something constructive where you'll be pulled away from work and get told, bam, warning order. And the commanders will have to sign that. There'll be coordinating instructions on there, and you sign it to say, I acknowledge that, which means you adhere to all the timings and equipment that must be prepared. That gets done, and that states the who, what, where, when, and why is about to occur in that orders group. The setup of the O group is done by the platoon sergeant. We're talking about platoons here, not sections. Sections are a subsidiary of the platoon, and the only time you go as a section is normally when you're in a fairly benign area, or you've been set out from a fire base or a platoon harbour, etc., to go and do some sort of information gaining patrol with the safety net just behind you. Are you hanging with me, team? I hope so. Mission, delivery to the combat team and stakeholders under the format of SMEAC. Situation, mission, execution, administration, logistics, followed by command and signals. Okay, I'm not going to go too far into that. But it is important to understand that even if you're not infantry, if you're a commander of forward observers, you will be there. If you're the medic, you will be there. Okay, if you are the media individual, you will be there. Anyone that's going on that patrol needs to be there so they understand the commander of this patrol, no matter what corps you're on from, is going to be the infantry platoon commander on the ground. The leading commander behind him is the platoon sergeant. Within seniority, should actually be the senior section commander, not an external commander, regardless of their rank, including your own commanding officer, because they don't know your SOPs, the standard operating procedures, the TTPs, the tactical techniques and procedures required as a drill, the Tom Brady quarterback go long Hail Mary that you need to know in case something goes down, south, etc. Actions on. There's going to be a big list of actions on that are going to be based on exactly what you possibly think can go wrong or right or expected on a patrol. Let's go to the next slide, Kaz. Right, let's get out of there. We're out of the jungle. Tully sucks. Famous quote from Kaz in 2002. Mission outcomes. The verb, destroy, clear, defend, deny, the verb says it all. What do I mean by that? When you go into an orders group and you get told 4-1, Charlie, is 2. The next word that comes out of their mouth tells you everything. If it says defend, okay, we're digging, we're building up, or we're digging down, depending on the terrain, to be able to hold in location, which means some goddamn hard work is coming. Deny normally means we're going to do a presence within a TAOR or AO that denies the enemy freedom of movement by us simply being there. And the only way he can be there now is to fight us, which he's not going to do because people don't stuff with Australians because we win, win, win. Someone else said that famous quote just recently. Take a breath, Kaz. If you hear the word clear, then that means you can do a offensive patrol into a location, and from there, the loud noise that you make, the presence you have as you come through that area, even including deception, including shows of force, including aviation, it could be armoured vehicles, plenty of track squeal, make a lot of noise, a lot of dust, while a dismounted call sign's moving there. The overt presence can make the baddie go, I'm not here for that fight, I'm getting out of here, and I'll take my mouth guard with me. I'll swipe left. If you see the word or heard the word destroy, that's a big deal, because what that means is you are going to close with the enemy. You are going to seek out close with him. You are going to kill or capture him. You are going to seize and hold his ground. Okay, and it is going to be regardless of day or night, regardless of season, weather or terrain. But this is the deal. He cannot get away. Get away, get away. Which means you have to use some form of either deception, maneuver, to get into a position, normally with a bigger call sign than a platoon, to shape him into a position he can't escape. And like the word says, destroy. You're not going to let him get out of there. He doesn't get away. Rules of engagement, nope. He's going down. Down, down, down. Chinatown. Whether you use ambushing, whether you use a combination of a deliberate attack. Okay, this is all going to be based on evidence that's been found here in other patrols that may have been reconnaissance patrols that tell us exactly what to do. We're about to hit 343, which is the infantry number. So the verb says it all. Destroy is the biggest deal that you can hear. Let's move on, Kaz. Boom. Orders continued, including main effort, seniority, final questions. Well, the main effort is not called a call sign. The main effort will be the destruction of said call sign at grid, blah, 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 the mission. So what can happen is if the threat force does something you don't expect, another call sign can move in, including from, QRF. The quick reaction force might actually take over a position, push through depth because of situations that are occurring. And then from there, what happens is one of them might take home the victory. Catch the pallet. Get there quickly. Holmesy, I'll be with you in 2 seconds, mate, and I'll show you some cracking. Okay, so from there, I've got Mum here. I've got Holmes on one side. H. Holmes. I'm in a position. I'm in a fix. Dilemma. Got to make a decision quickly. Go on, Kaz. So the main effort will be the destruction of that call sign, the taking of that call sign, the securing of that ground. It's not given to a call sign per se. Seniority, again, we've already talked about that. Seniority will go to the commander, infantry commander, tactical commander on the ground, regardless of rank. From there, I recommend that platoon commanders make their senior section commander the next in chain of command, because the platoon sergeant has an essential role in the patrol, in the platoon. He is the advisor. You can't all of a sudden make him redundant, make him as now the platoon commander, and then start a chain effect where you've now got to get a section commander to go over and take over the platoon sergeant's role, which he's not senior enough to do, because the wisdom, section commanders can do two up. They can coordinate that platoon, believe me. Okay, and it'll be with the assistance of the platoon sergeant. We're almost done. Okay, final questions. After that, there is no more questions. Then there'll be rehearsals, and that will just cement in that action's on, let's carry it out. Right? So we know that we've got that down pat and what we expect. From there, step off phase 1 commences. Everyone take a knee when you're ready to go. When they take the knee, over the orders, now, nothing verbal, everything will be given via the radios. After the signal has checked them, the signalman of the platoon, he will check them. Okay, and then from there he'll go, signals is good, let's get out of here. We'll let the higher dogs know that we're good to go. We step off on the mission. Conduct a patrol in accordance with mission outcomes. Yes. Day and night routine and security checks. Day and night, you don't want to go out for 24 hours because that means that you have a high tide mark when you turn around. You stop thinking about the dangers at hand. You goof off. You start to realise how much your pack hurts, and that puts you in a dangerous position. If you go out there for multiple days, you're good to go. Frago, what does it mean? I'll tell you. It's not an exotic meat wrap from a Porto. A frago is a fragmentation order, which means you get at night time. Any changes to that orders that you got in the formal orders group, go on with that. Resupply every 72 hours. You've got gear for that. And it shouldn't really be a drama, especially in motorised or mechanised. 37 seconds. Bam. Conclusion. Treat every single patrol like it's the only patrol in country, because it may very well be your last. Consider every time you're about to go on patrol, you take a book out of a shelf and you're going to start to write it. That's a diary. When that platoon is over, that patrol, you put the book back in, you've got home safely, you're good to go. Next time, another book. You're going to have a last book one day, perhaps. Next one, threat will be looking for patterns they may exploit, and they will. So change up everything you ever do. Last one, your individual safety is not the priority of the commander or the mission, and if it is, and you must not believe in that mission. I got hit. Man down.
You did it.
Duty first. 343. It's technical. It's complicated. Take it seriously. The day you goof off is the day you lose, and the day you lose is his enemy. The threat force's victory, and your mum's getting a letter.
Yep.
Do your job. Diligence. Okay. Hopefully we like that one. It was quick. It was down the pipe. And I will allow this to go out as a standalone, okay, for you in the next couple of days, for those that missed it.
You did great. That was fantastic.
Felt
That's
like,
a lot of information conveyed in a very short amount of time.
I felt like I was selling a goddamn house.
You could have probably.
We had to do it that way, team. Otherwise, we could have spoken on for an hour without getting to also the important side. Everything we do is to put leaves on a topic, or create the tree. So you put the leaves on, and the leaves are your questions.
Yep,
okay.
Exactly.
Medic. The medic will be there. Kaz is talking tactics, and we are goofing off Brady cars. Can't afford to do that, man. You don't want to be that tail end Charlie who didn't do his fitness, ate ice cream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if anyone has any questions for Kaz, preferably on what he just talked about, now's the time to put them in the chat.
Yep.
And then we can get to them.
And you know what? And we can kick on to almost any subject tomorrow, because the comments that will go on this video will be when it comes out tomorrow or the next day, and you can actually say, holy shit, I came halfway through that, Kaz. Can you do it again? No. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put out a concentrated video that has all that, and then you ask questions, and then there'll be a part 2 to that where I go into more detail. Having said that, Lauren,
Yep.
this is not about teaching you how to do a patrol. I'm not going to give away anything that's classified. Anything I speak about is something that you can find on the net, but it's just something that tells you, and it should have been the first video we ever did. This is what we do. Now everything I speak on is how to get to that. Reverse engineered.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was great. I think it's information that, the folks we have in our community, they're hungry for this kind of information.
Yeah.
And, it's really good of you to give it to them.
Oh, I gave it to him. This is for this is for Mr. Holmes. It's a pity we haven't got him here.
I accept.
We can't stay for tonight, but we'll watch tomorrow morning. Want to say thank you to everyone for the help I got recommended for all jobs I went for on assessment day. Only have the PFA to go now. You know what? He's going to be fine, because everyone that comes to this channel is fine, because they don't take things for granted. They get out, they do the work, they get it done. So subscribe right now if you haven't. Otherwise, the like button's going to come around your house, and it's going to put tinea in your socks if you wear them.
Sure is.
You're going to eat the whole bag.
Yeah, exactly. There's a really great question.
Yes.
From Will B42. Apart from complacency, what's the biggest cause of stuff-ups on parole?
On patrol?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd probably say that it's when you actually end up locking horns with something you don't expect. If you go out there and you've got a smaller force, you can have what could be considered a setback, a loss for a platoon as an individual, but not as a call sign. Remember what we say, and this is hard for especially parents to hear, that a casualty in our patrol within our call sign doesn't mean a failure of the mission. If force preservation ever gets that stringent, Australia, listen to this one too, that we are so concerned of losing someone who is here for a role that is voluntary, then we're never going to achieve mission success. You need to go out and do what the job is. And if you can't do it, then that tells me you don't believe in the mission. If you believe in the mission, if you believe in the patrol, then it is worth the losses, for the outcome that it gives back. We're all volunteers. This is not a conscript army. We go in there, we look for it, we search for it, and we don't feel sorry for the bad guy when he loses. I would say there is accidents. There is accidents that happen on patrols. There is no difference between someone who falls off a cliff onto volcanic rock, which happened on one of our patrols, that with a helicopter disaster, which happened in Afghanistan, Timmy Applin, Scotty Palmer. It's just one of those things. When the unexpected occurs or is being catered for, but then it does occur, Benjamin Chuck, third guy there, lovely bloke. When the accidents, they happen, sharp items, adverse conditions, by night, a lot of equipment, moving fast, very pointy, You know, when accidents occur, that's as bad as it goes because it could also compromise as a call sign. Yeah.
Yep, that's a good answer. I've got another good question here. Smythe Boss has asked, how many kilograms do you expect to carry on patrol in general?
Well, that one is something I didn't expect before East Timor in 1999. When we took our packs over, mate, to Rwanda, we took over ash bags, echelon bags. Okay, we took over our pack, we took our webbing, etc. And from there, we didn't carry it very far at all, and we had an FOB, and we were within city confines. When we went to East Timor, our packs, our straps were breaking. There was people getting in trouble because their inanimate plastic strapping was snapping from the weight, and we were carrying between 55 and 70 kilos. You know, because you were carrying gas grenades, you were carrying normal grenades, you were carrying extra ammunition, you were carrying 20 litres of water, and that's by law. You were carrying body armour, you were carrying your helmet, you were carrying your weapon systems, you were carrying your food. We were told you do not know when you're ever coming back. There was no comeback date. We were going over there anticipating a conventional conflict, which means there they are, they're wearing a uniform too, and it's a two-way range. We're expecting that. So we had everything included in the sink when we went over there. 70 kilos, some people carrying that. The radio man was carrying sometimes more. You know, as soon as you don't have enough room, then you have to start throwing your things out, not the military equipment. It could get cold, but I've got to be ready for that. I'm not taking a blanket. Okay, I'm not taking a winter weight sleeping bag. Okay, I'm not going to take a raincoat. You know, I'm not going to take a single thing for me other than toothpaste and toothbrush, but more often than not, no toothpaste, just toothbrush for the 4 months to 1 year you're going for, hoping that they will catch up with you logistically later. No phones, no cameras. Every single thing that you can do to make your shit lighter, you do it. And that means throwing other shit away that's not on the load list. Yeah. Yep. I actually, my eye, you know, when your blood vessels go,
Yep.
My eye was completely red, you know, from busting blood vessels, you know, when I was putting my pack on to go over to Timor the first time in 1999. It was out of control. I had to, on Antayet, which was the second trip, I had to slap a soldier because he was crying. Because I didn't realise his equipment was so heavy and you have to have it on the front of you, not the back of you when you're getting into a helo or a plane. It sits on your lap. But what I didn't know was he had a buckle that was cutting into his bicep. You know, and as he was walking past an American, you know, he was actually breaking down, had tears coming out his eyes. I didn't know something was slicing into him. So I slapped him to get his bloody composure back. You know, don't lose your shit in front of other countries. Whack! Wake up to yourself, you know, just to get him out of there because I didn't know what the hell was going on. He's a lovely guy. I love him. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's
20 kilos is a lot of water.
It's a lot. But, you know, clever packing is good for life in general. You know, mind you, my hardest thing is deciding which shoes to take and which shoes to leave. You know, Louis Vuittons, which ones do I take, which ones do I leave? So it's not quite the same. Also, I don't really have to carry it.
We couldn't even take our shadows with us.
Yeah, that seems like a lot.
Vampires.
Rob Kent is here. You'll be happy to know.
The keeper of hounds.
Yep, he's worried that I'm a bit quiet, but I just thought maybe I wasn't saying much. Does anyone else think I'm a bit quiet?
Do your ex-husband say that? No, she wasn't married.
Only when they're scared.
Chicken boy. This is a question. Does the Air Force and Navy take better care if you get shot or injured than the Army? You won't get shot in the Air Force and you won't get shot in the Navy, mate.
Exactly. But the entire ADF takes good care of all injured service folk, I'm sure.
The best care.
Yeah, and it's a standard of care over all the services. So you're not going to find that the Army just gets treated like dirt.
If you got shot in the Air Force or the Navy, then that's probably by one of your own people and it's probably an accident, mate. And again, if that happened, you're going to have, because we're never anywhere by ourselves, you're going to have Army, Air Force, Navy, normally as a tri-service combat team corporation that's on the ground overlapping in different areas. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. They are saying I am a little quiet. You know, we're going to have to...
I don't know how to make it any louder because you're like 7 centimeters from the microphone.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I can't... Shall I just talk like as if you're all dead?
Ah, you're fine.
I don't know what to do. One day we'll get a little screen up there. One day. Don't rush it, guys.
You couldn't be closer to the phone.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be.
Yeah.
My peas would be popping if I was closer to the phone. Okay, here's Rob M. Hey guys, I know I've asked a couple of times. Sorry, I just haven't seen it, Rob. I really don't want to seem to be self-centered, but am I going to get kept out for shin splints even after I get rid of them?
Well, I don't know if you can get rid of shin splints, Rob. Every time you're going to be put under intense fatigue or prolonged periods of carrying a pack, you know, they're going to come back out. It's something that sort of needs to be addressed. And sometimes when people are coming for the military and it comes down to, you know, if I don't say anything, no one knows sort of thing. The danger of that is you can have a real condition get worse and chronic because you were too nervous to say, hey, I'm injured. And that happens psychologically as well as it does physically. So just be careful with that and maybe talk to a doctor, but don't, it's a tough one. Because if you talk to a doctor, then it's logged in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the truth. It is. Rob suggests you strap me to the hairy microphone. I'm sure he means, but I don't know if that's going to make it any better. Nitro Fee, who is always training hard, has asked a question. She said, do signals in RAF do patrols?
No. No. You know, I don't think I've ever seen and it's going to get to the point where signals basically almost don't do patrols at all, even army ones, because their equipment is getting so sophisticated now that what they're able to do, they can usually do from Australia. You know, often they don't need to deploy out into the field environment to get the ranges they require because they're using the satellite connectivity that they need.
Yep.
Hotspots, etc. They can still operate from here and operate in another country. You know,
Yep.
If you were, you'll still be doing dismounted patrols around a secure environment where the RAF are.
Yeah. There's going back to the shin splints.
Yeah.
Big Man has said some guys got in after being cleared after shin splints in 2019.
Okay.
And Mr. C. Gray, who is our friend from the Navy, said, Navy, nil shin splint issues. So there you go.
Yeah. And I would definitely look at that because you don't want to become a cripple, you know. And is it shin splints or is it compartment syndrome? They're two different things, completely different. You know, if I thought that, physicality or something I've got wrong with me, I can't go to the army, I'd be straight for Navy. Looking at the beautiful great blue, it'd be a fantastic transition. Okay, not to actually have to change, so to speak, but there's no fitness really required other than for well-being in the Navy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a few people are making jokes about sore knees and necks, but that's just jokes.
Simon, how you going, mate?
Hi, Simon. BB Ace. Hey, Kaz, I'm going in as infantry and my weight is 90 kilograms at 5'8". Should I look at losing some weight? I'm fairly fit and not fat by any means.
Look, mate, it's like being a UFC fighter, you know. You still have to carry what your body has got on you. 5'8", I can already picture, you know, shorter guy, you know, wide shoulders, thick neck, big arms, etc. But you still have to pick that up and carry it as well as the equipment you carry. It's not that you can't necessarily lose weight, but I'm saying you need to get to fight weight, you know, because there's no girls in high range or on operations or in Tully, you know, or out on the boats. You know, there's advantages of looking good, yep, and capability that comes with it, but cardio is going to be the realm that you operate in, not just strength. I just fear for your knees and for your ankles and for your back. You know, if you're already at a warrior bloody stature, you know, by the time you start adding machine guns, ammunition, water, packs, you're probably looking at about 110, 120 plus that's down on those knees, you know, which is not simply just getting around town. That's actually jumping out of vehicles. That is running with equipment on. That is going out for 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months on operations. So it all comes down to how you can handle your body, you know, and you might be absolutely fine, mate. You know, just see how it goes.
Young Matthew, who gave a donation before, made a comment that I've just scrolled back to because it's kind of relevant to what that comment was.
Yeah.
And said he is now, and he thanks the channel for this, he is 30 kilograms lighter in the ADF and the healthiest he's ever been. When I found Kaz, I couldn't finish a 2.4 kilometre. Now it takes me less than 10 minutes. Not much for some, but for an ex-fatty like me, it is, he said.
Look, that is one of the reasons I do this sort of this streaming, you know, to get that sort of news. And I get this sort of news all the time, Matty. You know, there's great news about people that have changed their lives. You know, we've got KP, Carl, and the way he's now inspiring his sons. And without even any prompting, they've written and drawn pictures showing what they think of their dad. And it's not fake news. And how impressed they are. And now they're going out and doing 1 kilometre splits. That's Justin, and it's also Lincoln. You know, so this is generational for his family. And it's not just that he wasn't fit before, but it's now that he's reconnected, you know, his life with physicality and taken it back by the horns, and also now feels like he's living his life better, and it's being noticed by the circle of interest around him that respects who he is and the efforts and the actions that he puts in without asking for it. So, mate, absolutely amazing. Eat the elephant one bite at a time, and your action will make people believers.
And, you know, Kaz might have inspired you, but you did the hard yards.
Absolutely.
You did the work. You know, we can speak to we're blue in the face, but it takes for you to actually mobilise yourself and you get that goal. Yep,
it is true, and it's fantastic to hear.
Yeah, it really is. That's what we like to hear, isn't it, Kaz?
It is. It's the best. I'm just looking quickly here. The man in the orange shoes. I knew a guy who was in the army told me that Navy and Air Force are for pussies. I don't. Look, that's banter.
It's just a joke. It's just banter.
Yep.
They give it as good as they get.
We want them to tease us too, and if they don't, then they're being pussies. I want them to be able to give as good as they get. You know. You know, I've got no problem with drinking with any one of them.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I just don't turn me back on the sailor.
Yeah. Mr. Gray is here. Do you think, Mr. Gray, do you ever get sick of the Navy jokes? He doesn't seem to get offended. He's certainly no pussy.
That's right.
I wouldn't call him a pussy at all. Some people are just sensitive, though. Some people really do get their feelings hurt by that. But look, I'm a little bit biased, but I'll just say I've never met anyone from the army who ever got sensitive or hurt feelings about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've never understood it, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about something the next few days, and something that really, really scared me. I had a good talk with a couple of our subscribers on the bat phone that were talking to me about it, and something really scared me, Lauren, and it made me go and research it. And that was, why is this generation seem to be one or the other? It seems to be super resilient, fantastic, you know, really good at public speaking, completely in the know of subjects I never would have at their age, or they're the absolute opposite side of the page, and they're extremely sensitive to the point where I don't even know if they're even ever happy. And then I started to think, well, this must be attached to schooling. So I looked at the schooling curriculum, and in particular, history. Because for those that don't know, and for the older guys and gals here, we used to get taught in ancient history about Greek, Spartan, Roman stoicism, about names can't hurt your team. No matter what it is, there is nothing you could say other than a threat that I'm not going to shake my head or go, I don't give a shit. You know, but other people, it ruins their world. Then I found out that more than 80% of history in schooling is all about Aboriginal history, but not naming the things that are happening so much in modern history, like Rwanda genocides, Afghanistan, Iraq, the things that are topical now, nothing to do with our ancient history, middle history that got us to where we are, the succeeding, the mindset that allowed the human race to get to where it is in this state of evolution. So it's really a sad thing that they're actually not getting taught how to be a more resilient human.
Yeah, it's true.
At school. So what are they getting taught?
I would agree with you there. I'm not sure. I think we used to even learn about like Greek mythology and
that's
things
right.
like that, and moral tales and of Aesop and that. And now they really just leave all that behind. And I think, well, how can they understand where the concept of democracy and that came from? How can they understand what our Senate means if they don't learn about the Romans? I really think they're missing the holistic view of why our world is like it is if we're not teaching those real history lessons.
And you could almost say to Mr. Stickman, I'll talk to Xander in 2 seconds. It looks like a good, an excellent question over there.
Yep.
In a second, is the one rule that you should have is that you put more food on the table than what you take off it. That's a pretty simple rule.
Yep.
That you give more back to the tribe than what you take from the tribe.
Yep.
That's pretty damn simple.
If everyone did that, there'd be plenty for all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Zan, would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Xander Hare. G'day, Kaz. Tuning in from ADFA, where I just finished YOFT.
Is initial basic training. Yeah.
Training. Yeah, wanted to let you know that I appreciate your vids and I got quite a lot of my knowledge from you. Cheers. That's great.
Xander, that's an absolute privilege coming from someone in ADFA, which tells us also that you are in the land quite often of open mouth and closed ears. Where you were taught to be quietly, not quietly confident, but to be confident and keep projecting, but not showing the fears that you have in your plan, etc. And if you fail, we pick you up, we retrain, we reset, and then we go again. I can tell by your personality, mate, that you're going to be a fantastic officer to work with. And when you go from the ADFA component, the basic training, and you go over and you actually go to the last year that you're going to have to do there, which is all about mission profiles, supporting the ship or leading the ship, I think you're going to be a great asset to your team, mate. And that's the sort of personality that I'd expect in a successful officer, one that actually doesn't take the ego in. You can be confident, okay, and you can be deliberate in your decisive decision making in adverse conditions in a confined or concentrated time span. But what you do is you work out who are the people I can trust their judgment, and imagine that every one of them is trying to sell you stock for the stock market. Who do you put your faith in? Who do you believe in? Because they've got you there in the past.
Yep, good question. Good answer. Okay, Chicken Boy says in year 7 and 8 for Queensland we get taught about ancient history, and in year 9 World War I, year 10 and the rest I think World War II. I just wonder how in depth that is.
I had a conversation today on the bat phone and it was mostly about remember this date, remember who fought. But I dare say they don't learn very much about the Eastern Front. They don't learn that that party were socialists. It's a weird thing. There's just so much turned around that it seems very, I don't know what you'd call it, very convenient in what it's taught. And maybe the people that are teaching it only know a set mission event list to give out without the actual artistic flair to invigorate people to want to be historian teachers. How many people going to school want to be a history teacher? If none, then that sort of tells you that no one is inspired by the history lessons.
Yeah.
If I want to be a history teacher, my history teacher is going to be, I must have done a bloody good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I love history.
So do I.
Some people really love it and other people find it a bit boring, I think. And I think perhaps they just don't understand it. There's nothing boring about history.
It all comes down to the delivery, I believe.
Because it doesn't have to be military history. All sorts of history is interesting. You know, the history of like anthropology and things like that is very interesting.
I think one of the scary things is that we're learning with geology, with not so much history, but a lot of the sciences that they've been wrong forever, but now are shit scared of disengaging from something and actually admitting, you know what, we've been wrong the whole time. Now let's reset and go forward again. That must be horribly humbling.
It's difficult for them because also it means for the younger scientists now, they have to dismantle the work of their elders who taught them, you know, in that school. And that would be difficult in anything, right? I imagine when soldiering changes, it's kind of difficult to dismantle something that once was the standard and to make it something else.
And it is. And the guys and gals that are here, and Senior Gray will admit to this, I'm sure, that technology is moving so fast, but what it doesn't do is erase the principles of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's the above the line, what you can't find in a book, what you can't find in Google, what you can't find sometimes from a young soldier, Navy, airman, you craftsman, tradie. You know, you don't realise why we do something has been passed on from the eons you can't find in a book, which is just standardised information / business. But now that we are motorised and we're mechanised, we've got the manoeuvre now. We move fast. It's more comfortable for soldiers. They're very into whatever makes life easier, and that's what a soldier's life is about. And 100% guilty myself. No one wants to go to Tully. No one wants to do the dismounted patrol, but we know that that is the best way to catch the threat force and bring him unstuck. You know, I'd love it to be in an armoured vehicle where you've always got your head back, having a nanny nap, you know, while you're waiting to get from point A to point B or told when to get in and out of a vehicle. You know, using detection methods to find out where the bad guys are, less walking involved, less fatigue. You know, salamis hanging down from the inside of the vehicle, maybe not in a Navy ship.
Come on now.
Where's my salami gone? Why's that guy walking that way? Wait till he goes up a ladder, you'll get it back.
Oh, come on now. That's moving right along. I think it's also up to the student. Like, I think that, you know, developing an interest in something is important. And if you're, you know, some folk are really, really sporty, other folk are kind of artistic and that. But you really need to educate yourself when it comes to things too. Like, I think Brady was saying before, I'm not sure if it was him, but saying there's some great even channels on YouTube, you know, to learn about history and that. And that is true.
And look, but the thing with history we've got to remember too is not what happened. That's irrelevant. That's a byproduct of the why. You know, the people that teach you need to be able to teach this is why this happened. Otherwise it happens again. The what happened, that's irrelevant. You know, it's sad, it's tragic, but it's irrelevant. It's why did it happen? You know, what happened with the politicians that allowed this to occur, and understand that politicians back then were better people than what they are now. They didn't get in there. They didn't have all the trappings that you had now. They were there because they wanted to do it. They were intellectuals and they could do the job better. But when they clashed heads, you know, especially when it was nobilities, you know, the shit went to shit.
Yeah, when you think of history, remember they're real people.
Yep.
You know, remember they're real people. And that's something that I actually love about history, because I'm not one of those people who thinks even cavemen were dumber than us. I actually think they might have been a lot smarter. They didn't have so many distractions. You know, they watched the sunrise and the sunset. I think they were just as clever as us, probably thought much like us, you know, when we're using, and common sense meant life and death to them.
Geez, they would have slept well.
Yeah, I bet they did. Well, whenever you're out camping or you're in the country on a farm, you always, when you've done a hard day's work, you do sleep well.
Well, and guys and gals, when they go to Kapuka or equivalent, food tastes amazing. Sleep is outstanding because you earn everything that you get. You just eat on the plate. It becomes a fuel, and if it tastes good, that's a byproduct. That's awesome. Being there for 4 weeks and being told you're allowed to go and get a Coke now. You're so excited to get that veteran-made contraption called a Coca-Cola. For those that came in late, it was actually a veteran that created Coca-Cola. I thought that was pretty impressive, except for the fact he was an officer.
That's okay. That's okay, though. We'll claim him as a veteran.
Bloody officers.
No, no. But he invented Coke, so he's all right. I'm just going to have some Coke right now.
Oh, no worries, Ben Cousins.
Yeah, what was his name? I'm just going to...
Oh, I forget.
Mr. Cola.
No, it was nothing like that. My favourite World War documentary, They Shall Grow Not Old. I've got that. I still haven't watched it, mate. I haven't watched it.
I've seen that, but I've heard people say it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Brad POV, he goes to Kapuka on the 1st of March.
1st of March.
Yeah?
Sorry, what was the name again?
Brad POV.
Brad POV. Let's see if we've got you in here, young man. 1st of March. Brad. That's 1st of Feb. Guess who else is going in then?
Brad made it to the book. Who's going in with him?
Emma.
Oh, great.
And good camo. Gordo camo.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. So you're not alone.
You're not alone. Exactly.
You're not alone. It's every 3 weeks of 3 weeks a month. You've got people that are going actually into the military. 3 intakes a month, at least. We've got Ed B's son is also, he's out of COVID now. He had COVID, he got that, and got taken out of training with a bunch of his guys. He's back to training now. We've got someone, Felix the cat.
Yep.
That wonderful cat. He's in session and he believes that he will be marching out, funny enough, in March from the School of Infantry.
Oh, that's great.
Yep, and Vicky is excited and she'll be helping him prepare for his move to Bataan.
Yeah, she's a great girl.
She is. She's from, not Argentina.
Brazil, Colombia, somewhere like that.
It could be Argentina.
It could be Argentina.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. They're the double winning recipients of the Xbox X, and also the where we went around with Patreon and went and financially helped him out a little bit. It was good. Helped his wife out. Sorry, not him. He got none.
Good.
Right.
Brad is going for infantry soldier. Jacob Craig has said, hello, I'm going to Kapuka on the 15th of March.
15th of March. Sorry.
Jacob Craig.
Jacob
Craig.
15th of March. Jacob Craig. You're not going alone, mate. And do you know what's funny? Jacob Craig. You can't have 2 first names, man. You're going to confuse people. You're going with Skinner, mate. You're going in there with Skinner, mate, and at the same time, Lucas Ship is joining the Navy. What sort of sick joke is that? Join the Navy because your last name is Ship.
He was made for it. It was his destiny.
We'll see if he's made for it, because he's going to eat the whole bag, because he's going in with JJ. Yeah. JJ's going to the submarine where you can't hear him scream.
Mr. Gray, keep an eye out for Mr. Ship and JJ.
That's right. Look, Senor Gray has got plenty of it. Best job in the Navy. And he's got 1 thumb up. Reckon no officers in my branch. Okay, best. So he's putting the thumb up there. That looks like an examination, if you ask me. A hand-delivered colonoscopy.
Yep, Emma Riley is here. Hello, Emma. She's a member.
Hey, Emma, how you going, darling? Emma Riley, again, 2 first names.
Yep. They can't help it. But you should know, folks, that if you are joining, it's a good idea to change your name so that you can't be identified.
Do it. Do it. Social media, it sucks the way we go after our own.
It should.
Everyone knows you're not speaking for the military. Otherwise, you'd be on Channel 777 or on The Project. We've got Leo Wanker Stuntman for life there. It was born on a pirate ship. It's so bloody random, this chat. Do you know who wiped out the pirates as well? It was Julius Caesar. Another thing he done great. Julius Caesar and Pompey together wiped out the pirates after he was taken.
Except our friend still ended up with pirate sleeves. He didn't wipe out pirate sleeves.
We don't normally talk about Mr. Trump and his pirate sleeve and the event that happened on Anzac Day so many years ago that has scarred me. He had the flying nuns headdress attached to his wrists.
I bet he looked very smart in it. I bet it didn't look so bad.
He looked like Edward Scissorhands, the spinnakers hanging off his hands.
No, that can't be true.
It was one of the funniest things that, mate, it makes me feel awesome. Jay, here's a question for you. I'm a big believer that the health food industry is an absolute bloody scam. I think it's a scam, because I've never met anyone with scurvy, and almost no one from Western Sydney has ever eaten salad, or any greens, or any vegetables, or any fruit. Fruity Lexia is about it, and not one person around here looks like they've got bloody scurvy.
No, come on.
Makes me want to eat an orange now. You've scared me.
Yeah, oranges are great. Yeah, I tend to agree with you a bit about the health food, and you're calling it what it is, an industry.
Yep.
That's their job to try and, get us to buy their products. I think you're quite right. I used to buy my kids like ancient grains and all these superfood berries. They just actually called me together in a meeting one day and they said, Mum, you've got to stop. Because they said they weren't ever going to take another beetroot biscuit or goji berry or ancient grain thing ever again.
You've created a health PTSD on your children.
Yeah, I just tried to, I was making sure that they were going to try everything. Because even if I don't like something, I will allow my kids to try it without bias.
Hey, look, kids, human flesh. You got to taste it.
No. I'm not a fan of oysters, but my children have tried them, and mussels and that. My children have tried them and they like them. My kids love olives. I'm not a fan of olives or capers, but they love them.
Oh, look at this one.
What?
Senior Gray is saying Captain Cook used pickled cabbage to combat scurvy. Could you imagine the farts that were ripping in that wooden ship? And you go, that was the floorboards. That was the deck.
Great. Cabbage is terrific. It's easy to grow. Pickled cabbage, that would just be like sauerkraut, right? Or
Cabbage is only excused in Chico rolls. That is it.
No, come on now. Cabbage is delicious. Just boiled, drained, chop it up with some butter and pepper, and it's delicious. Or sauerkraut is great on like hot dogs and on sausages. Jay Hayes and Brady would appreciate this. Put some sauerkraut on your salve there.
I'll put some kraut on me salve as soon as I meet her. We've got the man in the orange shoe. You don't win friends with salad. That's right.
Yeah, Simon Powell had said
that and we're not getting this epidemic that we've got, in this country of people with more marbling than they should have by eating salad either.
Yeah, I actually had a salad for dinner, but I did have meat in my salad. I actually had some hot Hungarian salami in there. It was delicious.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Man, when you go outfield, I've got to tell you, I don't know if you take it out there, Mr. Gray, the salami out onto the Navy ships, but it is the soldier's friend, I tell you. But once you start popping that bastard out, everyone wants to eat it, and you can be in an ambush, and you'll lay there and you'll just hear that brrrr, and that smell of processed meat just wafts in an area where you're supposed to be a force lying in wait. All of a sudden, you smell like a deli.
Yeah, I used to send salamis over Because it's hard to know what to send to someone on deployment. And in East Timor, you seem to really love salami, so I just kept sending them.
Do you know why? Because the meat doesn't go off. You can have this exposed meat out there for 8 days, and you just cut the end off at night time and give it to a friend, and then you get into it.
Packages, because it was free postage, which was really great. Packages of I'd pack in salamis, lollies, I didn't know what else, beef jerkies, what else can you send?
Oh, beef jerky.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, there's one rule that we talk about but never adhere to ever in the military for some reason, and we call it Jack rations. Jack rations means that it is food that you take for you. You will not find a ration pack that goes in your pack that gives you the morale on those shit days, shit nights where it's wet, it's cold, it's hot, you're lonely, life sucks, etc. But there's always the same people, the takers that turn up with nothing. And then when you pull out a salami, you go, this is a Jack ration, bro. And they're going, oh, yeah, just a little bit. You go, but if you put 100 little bits together, that's the whole freaking thing.
Exactly.
Oh, come on,
right.
Don't be Jack. It's a Jack ration. It's meant to be waved in front of your friend and go, the barter system, trade with me. I'm not going to give you a Doge coin for a bloody Bitcoin.
So that's how it works, because I used to put several salamis in one package. Now, they were all for my
So does
partner.
JJ.
I'm sure he got some traction from dealing those salamis out. And every now and then, everyone would put all their rations together and you could come up with some really great recipes. And if someone had a little bit of Jack rations, like salami or something else, that would go in there and you could make one big bastardized stew.
No one cooks better than New Zealand soldiers because everywhere they go is so cold, so wet. But they actually carry a fry pan so they can cook really, really quickly with the gas burners. They take it real seriously. They love their food. They don't get that big eating salad either. And when one of their mates is off doing some sort of work, they do a cook up. And when he comes back, they've still got their weapon across their legs. They've got their fighting equipment on. They're still facing out, but they've got that fry pan like a dog guarding a bone, just looking out, and they eat it. But the problem is, when you have a good food, 40 minutes later, all of a sudden, we're all South American. You want to have that sleep that goes with it. There's a deliberate reason, I believe, why there's not enough food in a ration pack to actually fill you up. Because, man, you do not want to be soldiers on a patrol with a full tummy when you're potentially operating by night, and you need to be alert. Goofing off, it's what we do best. We can sleep like a Zyrtec. Add some extra food to it and we're done.
Yeah, exactly, like a carpet snake. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you're like. I've witnessed it many times. If I give JP a big feed or some sandwiches, he just curls up for a little nap afterwards.
That's it. We've got 13 minutes to go, Lauren.
Okay. All right. Anything else you need to address?
No, just for those that have come on here to see the content, which is about a patrol, I'm actually going to... what have we got there? I can't read it.
It's in the CAS with trenches.
What the hell?
Yeah, we've had a name a bit like that before. We had an in the trenches with Taz before, but this is in the CAS with trenches.
I've heard in Kaz's trench, and I thought I thought that was someone from the Navy.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to be in Kaz's trench. I can tell you that right now.
No.
Can I still train in? Is it Muay Thai?
Muay Thai?
Or stick with by the ADF?
Well, the answer is yes, and I'll get to that as soon as I thank you in the correct way. Oops, that's not it. Miss Jane, have some cracking for your first fleet, and this is for Mr. Gray as well.
It's a kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari.
Thank you very much for that, mate. Just so you know, Kaz's trench, like San Andreas, big trench. You can do combative still. But what will happen is you just need to get authorization from the battalion to do that. As a matter of fact, in Townsville, there's a few soldiers that fight in the MMA arenas that are affiliated with ex-veterans that also train, like Ian Bone, etc. And you can find them in Townsville. Reputable guys that do a great job, look after people, etc. Nathan Ireland has become a member.
He was already a member, I believe.
Oh, he's become a voice of the people.
There you go, upgraded.
He has upgraded. Can we get some thumbs down there? Preferably not in threes. It's too late. Lauren has just thrown. Is that triple?
Yep.
A triple?
Triple Kraken.
Triple Kraken for that.
Yeah.
For that,
Three.
Nathan, I'm going to give you some Kraken. No, I'll give you some Nutsu Cow because you should never fight that guy. He was kicking the wall and it was coming down all around him. Oh, my Lee, great. A bit of Jean-Claude Van Damme for you there, mate. Thank you very much, Nathan. Every time I see his name, I think of Tony Ireland, which was the premier car buying yard for all soldiers in Townsville.
I'd forgotten all about that.
You know, those guys, those sons of bitches, Nathan, you wouldn't even be back from overseas and all of a sudden, soldiers, welcome.
Yeah.
You know, you'd turn up and there they are, ready to go with all the hottest cars that were from one area that had just bought them from the same place and now were selling them back through the same place.
Yeah, you really just made me flash back. I think I even just heard Pricey's voice in the morning on the radio. I wonder if he's still going.
Look at all those 3 thumbs there.
Yeah, who would say the sounds of freedom as the as the helicopters and jets were going over in the morning.
Look, let's address the elephant in the room with that one. When I say to people to go to Townsville all the time, and that if you want to feel actually enveloped in the military lifestyle 100%, then I believe the best place to go is Townsville. It honestly is, because it's not as hot as Darwin, which is disgusting and comes with a divorce. Even before you've met the girl, you know, you've already got a reason to fight with her. And not to be outdone by South Australia, the home of the single mum. And Brisbane, which is absolutely dripping with civilians inside the base, which makes you feel like you're not in the military at all. But Townsville, your normal day, every shop you go to, there's someone in uniform. The police shouldn't even have a job to do. There's so many soldiers around, which should be the bloody Good Samaritans around the street. You go to the football, they're bringing the Aussie flag out by helicopter. You know, you're just walking around not even looking up as your friends are in helicopters flying above you. You can hear the sound of shooting depending on where you are from the ranges.
Yeah, exactly. You drive your kids to school and you're stuck behind a truck with soldiers looking at you, or there's a APC going down the road. And
Awesome.
got a buzz to it, doesn't it?
Look, you feel army there. You let AJ in here, 100 people go, what?
Yeah.
What have we got there? I'm going to have to go back to glasses in a second. What was that Nathan Ireland again?
Yeah, I just saw that. March the 1st is getting really close, getting excited. Have you got him in the book for March the 1st?
Let's have a look.
You better check the book.
Let's have a look at the book.
That's a great little jingle there.
That's right. The 2nd. No, we don't. So Nathan Ireland, you're not going in alone. That's the good news. No Ireland in the stream. Who wrote that? Carl had no.
Dolly and...
He's a boobs man. So here we go. He's just trying to make me look intelligent here. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. On the 1st of March. Where did we put him? Where the hell did I just write that? Okay. So we've got Brad POV. We've got Emma Riley. We've got Nathan Ireland. And we've got Good O'Camo.
Great.
All going in at the same time as each other. And there's always going to be plenty more, but naturally, and this is for you, the tentacles of love reaching out to you.
It's a Kraken! Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, calamari.
This is the problem with this channel now. We've got almost no one here anymore because everyone's in. Everyone comes here. They hit their goals and then they get in. You know, and once they get in, that's a good 8 months. They're away doing training, getting set up, and we miss them.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, you're certainly not alone, Nathan, because Brad POV is in the chat now, and Emma Riley is there too. There they are, two of them. I haven't seen Good Camo, probably getting ready
Yep.
for his last meal, but they're right there.
It's fantastic when you see that yous are actually going to be in a room across from each other, going, "Oh, you don't look like like I thought when I saw your name or the way you comment." You know, what's Carl saying here? Did you see they are clamping down on youth crime, and all the do-gooders are up in arms saying, "Be soft and give them more support." That's not going to stop you.
In Townsville,
You crush it.
It's bad. Yeah, you have to crush it.
Look, let me tell you that the crime that's happening in Townsville is colour-coded. It's Aboriginal youth crime, and they're not allowed to say it because they're shitting themselves by the woke community that they'll be called out for it. It's a real problem. It's very dangerous. You know, some of them have been killed, you know, and I'm talking about car accidents, and the blatant way they approach and accost people up there, you know, is crazy. It's brown paper bag.
It's totally off the reservation.
They need their elders to go in there and go, not out after night. You know, there almost needs to be a, what do you call it, a curfew. But in saying that, Townsville is so good for sports and outdoor activities, and you know, just walking down the Strand. It's the food markets. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. Exactly. There's lots to do, and that's why really the youth crime has really. It bothers me when I hear about it because it's such a beautiful place, and it is great. It's a great experience to live in like a garrison city if you ever get the chance.
Yeah, and also we don't want to see young people actually ruining their potential for a future.
Yeah, exactly. It's not helping anybody, especially the young people whose lives are just getting more and more off the rails. Look, we've gotten this far by being soft.
Yep.
That's what's caused this problem, and how many of them are repeat offenders. So if that doesn't work, why would we keep doing it?
That's right. And Hamish Wilson, I knew this was the case. Youth crime in Darwin is getting pretty bad there as well. It's because the court systems have a catch and release, no prosecution mandate. And that's wrong because you represent the taxpayers of that society.
Yeah, I think it might be on the lawmakers, on the politicians, in fact, this one.
Bring back the biff. The sad thing is, Carl, that's how they live. You know, it's nothing new to them. You know, Andrew, Kaz, the ADF view my medical records on application, had a bout of depression in my teens. That would prefer them not to know. Look, this is the deal, Andrew. That's the problem with going to a clinician and actually them writing something down to lock you in as a patient, so to speak.
Diagnosed, yeah.
More of the problem comes if you're on medication, mate. That's where they really get worried. If you can say, if they bring it up, because you've got to remember, they will ask you certain questions, or they may not ask. They might open-ended say, have you had a problem in this, or that? And just because they don't have a conversation with you, they will ask you to sign a document saying that everything you have given them in information, okay, is true. And be careful, because that can be a legal document. You know.
Yeah. You don't want to fib about it, though. You can appeal it if they, turn you down.
Yep. And what you can do is simply say, if they actually address that question, you can go, no dramas. When I was young, I lost a family member, and I felt pretty bad about it. You know, I had some breakups like everyone else, and yeah, it affected me. But I come here because I understand that resilience is, one, we're going to get more of it. We get trained in it. And two, I want to be tested. This is where I come because I want a hard life. I wouldn't come here if I had problems. You know, we're not here to give you a default answer how to get through a situation, especially if it's real, because at the same time, you'll never be pushed harder.
Exactly. We want you to be well when you're 40 as well. And
that's right.
There's a duty of care to you as well. So if there is a problem that you really should understand that nobody wants to make you worse either. Addy Boy's got to go. Nitro Fee's gone. Addy Boy has to go because someone's just flooded his laundry.
Chicken Boy has asked, what was your rank in the army? Mate, my departing rank was sergeant, but that's not indicative of what my position was. I wasn't able to get physically promoted from sergeant to the warrant officer, which I was qualified for, because I had a bleeding ass from being overseas. You know, not to mention smoke back and some anger issues as well. Yeah.
Sorry for laughing. It's not funny. It's just the way you say it.
Yeah, people can laugh at me. My skin's as thick as a piece of calloused pork. You know.
Yeah, I just sometimes laugh inappropriately. I don't mean to.
Oh, look at this. Peter Cronin walked into the doctor's with a broken toe, walked out with gout.
We were just talking about gout, Kate.
Absolutely. I've had gout many times, and I tell you, it is absolute agony. And Peter, you've got to go on YouTube and look up draining gout.
Yeah,
you look at it and you feel yourself going, oh.
It's so painful, I guess. I hope you're okay. It looks painful.
Andrew, mate, my heart goes out to you, mate. It really does. That's exactly what happened. Lost his old man at 15 and had a rough patch. I'm glad it's not as cut and dry as anything on the record and gets denied. I'm going to give it a go. Thanks, Kaz. Andrew, as a father of a daughter, my heart goes out to you, mate. You know, all we want to do when we're a parent is make it past that maturity age where you'd be able to pass the cricket bat to your son or daughter and say, it's your wicket, young lady, young man. And, mate, you're old enough that at least you've got some beautiful memories of him too, and I think that's fantastic. Hold on to them and tell people about him. You know, this is my grandfather's... Sorry, Lauren. This is my uncle, Jim. He made this from one piece of leather. He's an amazing guy. Travel all over the world giving lessons on weaving leathers and that sort of stuff. But inside is 2 artifacts. One of those, for my uncle to have given me this, you know, well, this is one of my uncles who got shot. You know, that was my mum's brother. He got killed in an accidental shooting inside his own house, 303. The enemy's allergic to it as well. But this is a beautiful artifact. I never met my grandfather, who they reckon was the best of the Caswells. Here he is. And this is his pocket watch with his regimental number. He worked on the trains, so he would have looked at this 100 times a day. You know, and his own son gave this to me, you know, because he knew that I'd appreciate it and love it. You know, and so I vicariously live through Grandpa Frank's watch, knowing that that is something that was precious to him. If there had been a fire, other than the children, that's the one thing he would have grabbed. Grab an artifact that was your father's that he treasured, mate, and keep that close to you, because one day you'll be giving it to your kid.
Yep, exactly. And it's, you know, it's tough. Yeah.
It is.
He didn't actually have gout. It was actually a broken toe. He was misdiagnosed with gout.
You need gout. You never feel more alive.
Nobody needs gout.
Well, we're gonna roll Jay the Baker and done himself a mischief. Did he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get out of here, guys and gals. I'm going to put up a video of the concentrate of that and maybe even break in a couple more inputs of information into that. I'd just like to make one explanation here that none of that is classified material. Yep. That is not teaching you how to go on a patrol. That is showing you that everything we do in military is to teach you to either support the patrol or to actually conduct the patrol. That's really all that matters. Everything else is about supporting that infantry or armoured soldier on the ground doing the hard yards. So the patrolling has to be done for the right reasons, and the rub had better be worth the squeeze, because when you go out on a patrol, you do not know if you're coming home. You might be walking back, you might be in a vehicle coming back, you might be on a stretcher, metaphoric of the shield, or you could be in a box with a flag draped across. You take it seriously every time, because accidents happen too. Have a sense of humour, but just remember that every single one of them might be the one where your name becomes a song. And that's all I've got.
Yep. I got nothing.
I got nothing, baby. Team, all I'm going to see is on Monday night. Great to have you here. Great to have the moderators here. Simon Powell, where is it? The Fitbit's coming out to you soon. No more excuses. I'm bringing it to you. His excuse is not mine. He doesn't want it.
Maybe you could travel some horse juice for him.
Gurgle, gurgle.
Oh, stop it.
I'm going to go and ring my lovely little girl. Go and get some heartburn eating some salami. Mr. Gray, can you stand up so I can get it? And enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're in for some rain unless you're in Victoria. And for those guys and gals, if you need another stream on any subject or a video just for you guys, holler and I'll get there. Become a member.
Yeah.
And see you soon. Take it easy. Thank you very much.